Hi, this is Eden Gordon Hill, and I am with Defenders Live. And today we have the honor to meet Colonel Peter Metzger, United States Marine Corps retired. Thank you, sir, for being here with us. We greatly appreciate your time.
Delighted to accept the invitation and chat with you, Eden.
Well, first and foremost, it was brought to my attention on June the 1st, an opinion article in the Washington Times with regards to it's time to call out our veteran charity scams. Please tell me more about this opinion article and why are there so many veteran charity scams?
Well, it's an interesting story and one that we're trying to get out through a very aggressive public information campaign. I guess what really caught our attention is our team took a look at a number of veterans charities in the year 2021 and found that, I want to say a number that's going to stagger you, nearly $1 billion, $966 million were given to charities that we would not recommend for various reasons, as opposed to 330 million, a third of that, being given to charities that purport to support veterans we would. So $1 billion was either misdirected by, from whatever reason, for, I'm not suggesting criminal activity, but fraud, waste, and abuse for good, well-meaning Americans trying to do the right thing to support veterans who need their help, and $1 billion went to the wrong places as we judge them.
So the $1 billion scam, we'll call it, is very concerning. With the work that I have done over the years with fighting for our veterans, making sure that they are given everything they need, having worked in the previous administration working for Trump, and we gave top care to our veterans. So I sit here and say, what is the RAM Veterans Group, i.e., the Charities for Veterans Initiative, going to do to basically point veterans in the right direction for the best care, for the best advantages to take care of them because they did so much for us?
Well, the opportunity here is really simply, in simple mission terms, is to redirect hundreds of millions of dollars being given to low-rated veterans charities. That money should be directed towards the higher-rated veterans charities who actually work very hard to support veterans and all their needs. So it's a redirection opportunity. And what we're trying to do is to educate the American public, who are wonderfully supportive of veterans organizations, to understand what really is going on in the organizations they write checks to. Because you and I both know that pictures and videos of wounded and injured military warriors are often used by charities to raise money. But much of that money is misdirected to places that the donor doesn't know. All we're trying to do is say, hey, here's a better way to look at it. Make your own choice.
And as you're educating the donor, let me ask you this. There are many veteran service organizations out there that I have supported over the years, to name a few: the USO, DC Metro, USO, New York City, the Liberty USO, Philadelphia, the Gary Sinise Foundation, the
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth Dole Foundation. I've worked with all of them to advocate on veteran causes. So, and Hope for the Warriors is in my backyard here by Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Naming all of those amazing organizations, I don't want to specifically put you on the spot and say, okay, what ones should we be careful of? But educating the donor, especially when you come around Memorial Day, July 4th, and Veterans Day. Are you able to, with charitiesforvets.com, are you able to provide tools
Yes.
on your site that you can say, hey, America, hey, patriotic, holidays, here are organizations that we endorse? Or is there another method to educating?
Yeah, we have a rating system, and it's really pretty simple. As you say, Eden, if they go to the charitiesforvets.org website, they will see we rated 78 veterans charities, 30 of which we recommend and 48 of which we don't recommend.
Okay.
Your next question would be, why the difference? What's the rating system?
Right.
Well, there are a number of different things, and they're on the website, but a couple that are really important. We believe that if a veterans organization charity is spending more than 25% on overhead, that's probably not a good thing. Conversely, if they're spending less than 75% of the money donated directly supporting veterans, that's not good. You can see the imbalance there.
Right.
So we take a look very simply. It's all public information.
Okay.
We take a look at the IRS 990s, and the various states' attorneys general reports, which all charities have to file, and we take a look at the numbers and we simply assign a grade. The grades are highly recommended, honorable, or not recommended.
Okay.
And none of these ratings are make believe numbers. These are real hard facts as reported to the Internal Revenue Service. So it
Mhm.
gives the donor the chance to go on the website and say, okay, I see why. And we explain why the ratings given to each of the charities.
Mhm.
And so out of 78, you can see them all. So the end result being a successful mission would be to redirect those monies that are not going to places that are well managed to
Mhm.
those that are. And so we're not telling anyone what to do whatsoever. It is suggesting here's some information you may be interested before you make it write a check.
Right. Let me ask you this from a personal standpoint with RAM Foundation, which stands for the Robert Alexander Mercer Veterans Foundation and the new initiative Charities for Vets. And you are the chairman of the advisory board and a retired colonel in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
What brought you to this organization and what is your vision long term for this outreach and this education piece for veterans?
Well, the R.A. Mercer Veterans Organization was started by a woman called Rebecca Mercer, who's the niece of Robert Mercer, who was killed in action in France in 1944. And
Mhm.
in his memory, and in the memory of all veterans and those fallen warriors, she started this foundation and through a mutual friend asked me to become involved. How can you say no to something like that? I mean, it's really a really good thing to do. And so Rebecca started this thing, and this we're still in the early stages. We rolled it out around Memorial Day, as you know. And
Right.
my personal involvement is just a small piece of the success. And what do we see as success? We see success as perhaps encouraging those we don't recommend through poor financial management or for whatever reason to
Mhm.
take a look at their internal controls and say, well, perhaps we can do this better. If they do it better and meet our standards by sending in audited financials,
Mhm.
we take a second look. Nothing's forever.
Right. Right. With your service, with your family's service, you had mentioned to me pre-record that your son, the military service is a huge part of your family, and then
Mhm.
also with the veteran space as well. And looking at what's ahead for our veterans, we have the pullout in Afghanistan. We have seen. Um, We've seen the PTSD, the TBI, the just all the traumatic aspects of what happened in our nation within the past couple of years, and then going into Ukraine and what that is looking like. From that aspect of what could be long term for this foundation, what as from the pinnacle, from the very top down, what do you say to those in our community, for example, 9,000 veterans in our community, hey, check this out because this could actually benefit you down the road. What would you say to those veterans who are one searching for other opportunities, veterans who do not want to isolate themselves and want to get out and say, okay, let's volunteer here, let's get involved? What would you say to them?
Mhm. Well, transitions are very difficult. Those of us who served, and I had the privilege to serve as a Marine for 26 years, transitions are difficult. And I would say to the veterans that these organizations we're trying to get lined up to support them have
Mhm.
all kinds of networks to become involved, ways to get you to look for the profession you want to do, to get the health care you need, if necessary, some financial assistance. And so that really is the overarching mission, even
Mhm.
of our organization, is so the veteran can be educated, but more importantly, the people writing the checks who just are trying to do the right thing. They
Right,
really want to do the right thing.
right. I would say on a final note, as we head into the break, what are three things that we as veteran spouse, as we as Americans, and as we look to Veterans Day coming up and July 4th holidays,
Mhm.
what are three things that we can do to get involved with charitiesforvets.com that we can assist you as you start this, as you're in the beginning stages?
Great question. There are three things you can do. First and foremost, go to our website, charitiesforvets.org. On the website, they'll find several ways to contribute either money or energy. One thing that's not well known about our organization is that a very small donation will yield multiple things. For example, a $100 donation to charitiesforvets.org will yield 3,000 media views. So it's geometric. The more information we get out there, the better. They can also sign up to become what's called a RAM warrior, kind of a cool term.
That
And
is.
for as little as $10, one can become a RAM warrior and become involved in information both ways. And for no cost whatsoever, on the website, they can become a RAM ambassador, which entitles them to free information pushed towards them through their email.
Let me ask you this, with the Ram Warrior and looking over the press release that came out and also the Washington Times piece, it looks to me that the media aspect is very, more exposure to media will be such a benefit to
Yes.
charitiesforvets.com. So, in that, obviously, we would love to have you back to talk about follow up and how things are going. But in addition to that, really just sharing your message out there, both in the social space and then also the national and local level. So we applaud you for getting out there and doing this and making a difference, because every veteran in our backyard needs to know that they still matter and that they have access to availability for healing, health, and protecting our country as well.
Yes, they do. Thank you very much for that. It's an ongoing effort. We're in the very early stages, as you said. We're getting very positive feedback from various media outlets we've been talking to, both on television, radio, and in print. And the more that people know about it, the better. This is a public information campaign. We're not making hard choices here for people. We're just simply saying, here are some facts. Take a look and do what you think is right, because the American public is so wonderfully supportive of veterans. And in fact, you may know this, but only 1% of our country serves in the military. 1%.
Wow, that speaks volumes. I did not realize that,
Pretty
because
big.
that is because I mean we sit here with 9,000 veterans in our backyard, and I'm sitting here thinking, wow, just 1%. Wow,
Yeah.
Colonel Peter Metzger, United States Marine Corps, retired, charitiesforvets.com. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you are doing for our veterans.
Thank
Many
you very much. What a pleasure to be with you.